So I go down to this football stadium, which is empty, and there's just one stand, so I thought, I better go over there. And then when I got near, I could hear voices, follow the voices to a room in which there was a number of other, mostly commissioned, if not all, people, and there was a big table with the southwest of England drawn on it, with plotting images or whatever, and there was a chappie in charge of this, and I think his name was either Lloyd James or Lloyd Williams, but he was connected with the BBC, and he said, I'm here because you people need to, he said, the air is full of chatter, and he said, with so many airplanes in the sky, we can't afford it, there will be no room. So he said, you are going to learn a jargon, which the Royal Air Force is going to introduce. And also, he said, I will help you with your diction. And he said, we're going to do this by means of learning about how the plotting works and radar works and what you will be subjected to when you're back in your squadron. And so then we had an exercise, and you were either the controller or one of the plotter shovers, or you were the radar on the roof. And they kind of a hole in the roof, and a little spiral staircase, or a ladder, I forget which, up into there, and if you were the radar man, you were up in the roof, and the airfield had been marked out in squares, letters A, B, C, D, or numbers or whatever, and at one end of the airfield there were 3 Wars ice cream bicycles with TR9 radio sets in, a helmet, and at the other end there was one bicycle, a similar one, but no radar kit. And when the controller downstairs phoned up to the bloke on the roof and said, scramble, he would fire a red Very pistol. And the bomber bloke was instructed, when he saw the red Very cartridge, to start cycling towards the end, but not in a straight line, changing course. And every time he changed course, the chap on the roof would telephone down 200 bandits, square one or whatever, and the plotter would go. And so, and at the same time, simultaneously, the controller would scramble the fighter leader, who was sitting on a flight of 3 ice cream bicycles at the far end, and he would then give them courses, and you would take this course or that course to intercept the bomber. And so it was an exercise in interception, how radar worked and how the plotting, how it all worked. Now at the end of this, I do hope I'm not rabbiting on, it's all fascinating stuff to me, but the end of which this professor from the BBC said, now then, I'm going to put on a record, and I want you to tell me what you hear. So he put it on and went, like the chipmunks. He said, does anyone know what it was? And then we all laughed, because there was no way, you know. He said, well, I'll play it again. So he played it again. He said, now does anyone know what it was? Well, somebody said, well, I thought it was, they were guessing. He said, now I'm going to tell you what it says, and then I'll play it again. He said, it's simply saying, Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? So he played it again, and it was all crystal clear, unbelievably. And he said, that is because you were trying to unscramble a message, and you were imagining it might be this or that or the other. And he said, when you had a disciplined expectation, you heard it clearly, whereas you hadn't before twice. And he said, to convince the brassats of the Royal Air Force with this, he said, I'll tell you what happened. We assembled, and he said, I picked up the telephone, and they were all listening. And the operator at the other end said, number please. He said, the gentlemen of Wembley are a motley assembly. He said, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't get your number. He said, the gentlemen of Wembley are a motley assembly. He said, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't get your Wembley number. He said, I am not saying a number, I am saying, and then he said it again, and then he got a mouthful from her that she didn't have time to waste talking to idiots. And he said to her, now that is because she was expecting to hear a number, and she didn't understand the Wembley bit, and then she was still expecting, so she said, I didn't understand your Wembley number. And she didn't, when I told her that I wasn't saying that, I got the answer I should have had, first of all, if she hadn't been trying to unscramble my message. So that was the whole point. So, and then he would say, well, now he would play through the recorded exchanges that had gone on from the intercom and correct the diction and so on. You know, it was a wonderful, wonderful, simplistic idea of introducing people like me to what it was all about.